Good night and welcome to Victoria Vulture's channel, where we enjoy spooky night, reading horrors in the night, under spooky light, where it's right. Sit on a comfy chair and hold on tight. I am Victoria from VictoriaVulture, and tonight I'm doing something different. I have with me Brianna, my beautiful daughter, and we are going to read horror stories. Well, I'll be reading horror stories to you tonight.
Under spooky flashlight.
Yes. Now, you all who know us know we like horrors. We only deal in horrors. So we're going to try to woo you into loving our world. The first story is called Guardians by Dark Alligator. He awoke to a huge insect-like creatures. He awoke to the huge insect-like creatures looming over his bed and screamed his lungs out. They hastily left the room and he stayed up all night, shaking and wondering if it had been a dream. The next morning there was a tap on the door. Gathering his courage, he opened it to see one of them gently place a plate filled with fried breakfast on the floor, then retreat to a safe distance. Bewildered, he accepted the gift. The creatures chittered excitedly. This happened every day for weeks. At first he was worried that they were fattening him up, but after a particularly greasy breakfast left him clutching his chest from heartburn, they were replaced with fresh fruit. As well as cooking, they poured hot steamy baths for him and even tucked him in when he went to bed. It was bizarre. One night he awoke to gunshots and screaming. He raced downstairs to find a decapitated burglar being devoured by the insects. He was sickened, but disposed of the remains as best he could. He knew they had just been protecting him. One morning, the creatures wouldn't let him leave his room. He lay down confused, but trusting as they ushered him back into bed. Whatever their motives, they weren't going to hurt him. Hours later, a burning pain spread throughout his body. It felt like his stomach was filled with razor wire. The insects chittered as he spasmed and moaned. It was only when he felt a terrible squirming feeling beneath his skin that he realized the insects hadn't been protecting him. They had been protecting their young. Wow. Wow. First question is, how did they impregnate him?
Maybe with the food, they maybe put the eggs in, but I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe while he was asleep.
And then, why didn't he try to even find a phone? Why did you happily agree that you like the food and the bath?
Maybe like the comforts and
So they were lovingly taking care of the babies inside of him. So they weren't fattening him up. They were fattening the babies. He was he was like the queen. Wow. So that story was Guardians by Dark Alligator. Whoever you are, fantastic. Fantastic story. Now we're going to read another story. Ooh, if this is as good as that one. This one is called My Daughter Learned to Count by Real Science 87. My daughter woke me up around 8:50 last night. My wife and I had picked her up from her friend Sally's birthday party, brought her home and put her to bed. My wife went into the bedroom to read while I fell asleep watching the Braves game. "Daddy," she whispered, tugging my shirt sleeve, "guess how old I'm going to be next month?" I don't know, Beauty, I said as I slipped on my glasses. How old? She smiled and held up 4 fingers. It is 7:30 now. My wife and I have been up with her almost 8 hours. She still refuses to tell us where she got them. So it wasn't her fingers she held up. Whose fingers she brought back from the party? You think she bring back... Whose fingers she was holding up? Oh,
Where she get them fingers?
where she, after the party, where she held the fingers without bloody, and the, nah, what's your name? Real Science 87? Real good. That was my daughter learned to count. Excellent. We'll see if we have time for another beautiful story. Wow, these stories are great.
We could do one more, yeah?
We could do
That
one
would
more
be nice.
story. Okay, let me find the story. Let me find the story. Find a good story. A good story. Oh, this looks good. Okay, well, I don't know if you're having as much fun as me. You know, it's better to read than to see it in the movie form. In the movie forms, they can't show everything, you know, the true meat. But when you read...
Stephen King.
Oh gosh, his books are amazing, but they could never get everything in a movie. The Happiest Day of My Life by Recludus. By Recludus. I watched as my soon-to-be father-in-law held his daughter's hand as he walked down the aisles. Tears streamed down his face as the wedding march that played in the background reminded him that in a few minutes he would be watching me hold his daughter's hand and slipping on her ring. He walked up to the altar and I took hold of her hand, grinning from ear to ear. It was the happiest day of my life. My bride's father got down on his knees and started begging. Please, I did what you asked. Just please give my daughter back. I glared at him. Shut up and stop ruining the moment. If you sit back down and enjoy the ceremony, maybe I'll tell you where I've hidden the rest of her body. What's your name?
Is he marrying a head?
What is a hand?
Just a hand alone?
He taken the hand in marriage.
No, but like he didn't have half her body.
So she's somewhere. He chop off her hand.
And you just marrying the hand?
And you marrying the hand and slipping the ring on the hand and you're so happy. Wow, you'll see why we love horror movies. The father. And apparently he didn't invite anybody else. It was just
the father.
Just
he and
the father.
So who's the priest? He doing the whole summer
Where was the
ceremony?
priest? Who is the priest? The priest must be well tied up with a knife or gun strap up to him, and if he only gets vexed with
to
it
marry
being
him
forced.
and the hand. A hand.
Y'all, it has been wonderful. Before I sleep tonight, I don't know which one I'm going to bed with in my mind, just smiling and reliving, and they were all amazing. Yeah, that is horrors. The authors are excellent, excellent. So, thank you for joining us on our spooky horror story night, where you held onto your chair tight. We hope we didn't give you too much of a fright. Don't worry, in the morning you'll be bright. This is Victoria from VictoriaVulture. This is Brianna from Brianna Effect. Thank you. Until next time, stay safe.